Thanks everybody so much for joining us and for your patience as we got started. My name is Tessa Archibald. I'm a policy associate for the Animal Welfare Institute and I manage the Homes for Horses Coalition. Just a couple things and to keep in mind as we get started, please stay on mute so we can hear our speaker clearly. We don't have any feedback and this will be recorded. So if you need to hop off or anything, no worries, and it'll be available to share afterwards. Many of you joining today are members of the Homes for Horses Coalition, but for those of you who aren't, I'm just going to share a short introduction. The Homes for Horses Coalition has been active since 2007, when it started as a unique coalition to help horses and ultimately help equines by ending horse slaughter. Today, HHC is led by the Animal Welfare Institute and the American Wild Horse Conservation, and has over 500 members who are dedicated equine rescue directors, equine professionals, and equine advocates. HHC is dedicated to providing spaces for collaboration and connection within the equine rescue world, as well as furthering advocacy to improve the lives of equines through legislation and policy. One announcement, HHC has a conference upcoming in September, the 21st through the 23rd, so save the date. We have registration open and there's early bird pricing until the 1st of June, so definitely hop on that. And we have discounted hotel rooms available as well. We have such a great speaker joining us today to talk us through some mobile tech tips for your equine rescue. Deanna Mancuso is an innovative equestrian leader. She has capstone in nonprofit governance from SUNY Albany, and extensive equine experience from fox hunting to barrel racing and everything in between. She was the New York Region 6 Cornell Cooperative Extension Coordinator and was the leader of the largest 4-H club in Dutchess County, New York. She operated a large boarding facility in 2008 when she recognized a disturbing trend within the community of neglected horses. Determined to be a part of the solution, Deanna closed her business and established Lucky Orphans Horse Rescue to offer permanent sanctuary to these horses and provide them with a safe haven where they could live out their lives as living proof of the Lucky Orphans mission, people helping horses heal people. Today, Deanna manages a herd of 50 horses and ponies and provides a variety of equine education and human development programs in New York. Deanna has worked tirelessly to never stop learning. She proudly represents CHA as a Western English instructor and trail guide, as well as being a certified equine facility manager and site accreditation visitor. She's a Dutchess County Leadership and Executive Leadership graduate. Deanna serves on the board of CHA and is a member of the Equus Foundation Equine Assisted Services Committee. She shares the best operations of her organization by maintaining Lucky Orphans status as being TAA accredited, CHA site accredited, GFAS accredited, and being an Equus Foundation member. She has also helped Lucky Orphans become a community outreach organization of U.S. equestrian. In addition to her commitment to equine welfare, Ms. Mancuso strives to offer the best programs on the farm. She is EGALA certified, Natural Lifemanship Advanced certified, E3A certified, as well as being a Harmony horsemanship instructor. Thank you so much for joining us today, Deanna. Please take it away.
Hi, Tessa and everyone. Thank you so much. Sorry for our brief technical difficulties. Appropriate, I guess, for using technology to manage your equine facility and all of the glitches that go with that. And hopefully these slides will advance. There we go. So thank you for introducing me and Lucky Orphans. Super proud of all of the accreditations and things that we are part of, including Homes for Horses Coalition. And I'm excited to share some of the things that we use here at Lucky Orphans to kind of keep track of all of these different things and our volunteers and our staff on the farm. So when you think about a farm, what a lot of people see, especially my farm sits right on 22, which is a main road. And, you know, it's great to see horses when you're driving by. What a lot of people don't think about that we as horse caregivers do consider are pasture. So maintaining the grass and paddock space, the roads, driveways, pathways of our farms, fencing, repairs, how often we're maintaining, the cost of that, and of course the horse care. So if we break that down as well, we also have the buildings, run-in sheds, barns. We have actual hay feeders on our property. So with the buildings, we have to consider the electricity, when we're doing repairs, additions, maintenance, as well as water. We test our water annually here, as well as making sure, you know, is everything working? Are the spigots leaking? Things like that. Repairs to the buildings, and of course, safety. Other things that we have to consider on the farm are our machines, equipment, tractors, which include oil and fuel expenses. How often are we filling the tanks? Hydraulics, lines, repairs, maintenance, tires, and the implements, our buckets, our arena drags, York rakes, things like that. As far as our feed and supplies, we have to track, obviously, feed when it's delivered, the cost, as well as our supplements and medications, and supplies, pitchforks, hoses, fly masks, etc. If there's a riding program, we're going to consider things in our tack room. So for CHA certification or site accredited facilities, we have to think about when we purchased our supplies, when our equipment is cleaned, repaired, and when we remove it from use. So these are some of the things that we used to really track. I'm a sanctuary now. We've eliminated all of our riding programs. But for those of you who do still maintain riding programs, these are really important things to track. So today, I'm hoping that I can introduce you guys to some technology to help manage your staff and volunteers. So this is my daily staff team. I have myself, my property manager, my barn manager, and then some part-time staff for programs, social media, grant writing, things like that. All the things that a nonprofit horse rescue or sanctuary could need, as well as managing a team of volunteers. So we use Vomo to track our volunteers. It's been a lifesaver for us. It does have a cost, and we'll talk about that as this presentation goes on. But this is what it looks like if you were to want to volunteer at Lucky Orphans. I'll show you the admin side of that. I hope. Just give that a minute to load. Can you guys still see my screen as it changes to Vomo? Cool. So this is what the admin side of Vomo looks like. And Vomo, again, is volunteer management. So I can track how many dates, and this is since we've been using Vomo, but I can reduce that to do a month, a week, a year, 3 years. So we can track how many serving dates we have, volunteer hours, how many volunteers we have. This is really important. So we are an Equus mentor, and Equus would like to know from us how many in-kind donations we have, and that includes hours. This is also really helpful when we're applying for other grants, because these in-kind hours can be matched through funds. So when you look at volunteer hours in New York State, volunteer time is valued at $37 an hour. So when you look at these hours, it's a $300,000 impact to the organization of saved staff expense. So things that we can do in volunteer or in Vomo, and I'll just pull up my volunteer list. So if I click on people, so as a member of the USEF community outreach program, we do have to have all of our staff and volunteers background checked. Because of our therapy program, we also enforce those background checks. So you can see here on the right-hand side, Vomo tracks our background checks. We can get those background checks done right through Vomo. So I'm just going to pull up Allie, for example. So Allie is our volunteer coordinator, so you can see that she's an admin. So it's great because right off the bat, I can see her name, her age, her email address, her phone number, her address, any notes that we have. So these were last year when she started volunteering, a photo, which is great. Photo IDs are fantastic. So she's impacted the organization in barn work of $4,000. And then what I love about what VOMO does for us is our volunteer applications are right online. So if you were to go to Lucky Orphans website and click on volunteer, the application directly inputs right into VOMO. So her name, her birthday, her address, her phone number. We ask if they use Facebook. She doesn't need her parent information because she's not a minor. We ask how they hear about Lucky Orphans, how they want to help on the farm, her code of ethics, liability release, volunteer confidentiality, photo and video release, and background check are all uploaded right into VOMO. VOMO tracks all of that for us, which really, really helps with paper. I hate paper. I hate filing cabinets with multiple file folders. So it's great that VOMO really tracks all of this for us. She's not on any medications. It tracks her allergies. So what we do with this information is we make name tags for our volunteers that have their name right on the front, and on the back, it would have any allergies, medications, and emergency contacts, so that should we have to call 911 and our volunteer is unconscious, we don't have to run to the computer to find their information. They're wearing it, and that name tag would just go right with the ambulance. So really simplifying that process. So all of our volunteers are in here in the database, as well as we have a lobby. So if I go back into people, my Wi-Fi is super slow today. I'm sorry, guys. So the members are, right away, I can see when they started volunteering. I can email them right through VOMO. I can export this into an Excel database, and right away I can see that their background checks are cleared. If I go into the lobby, these are volunteers who have applied or have started the process, but there's no background check. They're not current. They're not ready to volunteer. They're missing something. So you can see these background checks are not checked yet for whatever reason. So they, this one just applied yesterday or a couple days ago. So we're working through these volunteers and they just might be missing something. So if I click on Autumn, I'm not sure if Allie would have gotten to her yet. So Allie communicates well. So she says that she sent an intro email. Right away, we can see her address and everything else. And even though she hasn't volunteered yet, I can go into her profile and her application is completed. And then Allie would update her notes as they come in. So that's how we track our volunteers. Can someone read that note to me? I'm sorry.
Yep, I can. Kathleen asked, can you speak more to how background checks are conducted? Are they conducted by VOMO? Do you pay per background check?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we get a new volunteer, actually, I'll just pull up my website. Come on, Wi-Fi. So this is our volunteer page. It's still loading. This is going to be our volunteer page. And it outlines what our expectations are and how you can volunteer. And it's taking so long. So it outlines all of the things that you can do, and then let's see. Yeah. It outlines the steps. So you can see that we ask them to complete the application on VOMO, and then Allie interviews the potential volunteer. And then we charge a one-time fee of $25. So new volunteers pay that $25 right off the bat. We really think that if you invest in the program, then it means more. We used to have people who would apply, and then we were really managing a lot of volunteers that weren't actually showing up. So right off the bat, we tell them that we're going to charge them $25. And then if I go back to people, if I wanted to add a background check, I'm right in VOMO, I'm just going to add. And we do not background check minors. So if the volunteer is under the age of 18, nothing's going to show up on a background check anyway. So we would just go into hit manual check. And I would just type in minor so that there's a note as to why we are not doing a background check on this client. However, if we wanted to do a background check on this volunteer, then I would just choose which package I want. So the first one is $12.99, which gives me my national criminal search, sex offender, which really is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that sex offender and criminal charge search. So we do the $12.99, but my volunteer has already paid for that. So there is a fee, and it's all done right through VOMO. What happens if I was to select this package is Autumn would get an email from VOMO saying, we need your name, address, social security number for your volunteer background check. She submits her information, so she never has to give us her social security number. And then we would get a pass fail. And if it's a fail, we would be alerted with any potential charges that volunteer would have. Does that answer your question?
Brilliantly. Thank you so much.
Great. Okay, so now that we have all of our volunteers in there, what are we going to do with them? So if we go into opportunities, I can look at my active opportunities, and these are things that volunteers can sign up for. And as we know, we never always have enough volunteers. So things that we have volunteers sign up for are afternoon chores, morning chores. Our volunteers have to sign up to shadow existing volunteers until they're approved. We have our event planning committee meetings, on and off site events, marketing and social media, property help, program help. So basically what that would look like is this is our profile. So our volunteers see this. It's very easy and straightforward. It tells who we are, a mission statement, and then what our hub looks like. So again, they can volunteer with horses, and then the volunteer would see this side of things. So they can see morning chores, shadowing staff, afternoon chores, events, event planning committee, that sort of thing. And then they would just sign up for what they would like to do. So what my barn manager does is she'll look at morning chores, for example, And we can filter, again, the dates for any grant questions. If we are working on a grant that requires volunteer time, we can change the dates. Or if we just want to know what volunteers worked on a day, maybe there was an incident or something, we can always go back. I'm going to hide the past dates, and we can see which volunteers are signing up. So on Tuesday, for example, we're looking for volunteers for a morning shift. And I can see that Barbara, Donna, and Beth are all coming to volunteer on this day. So that really helps scheduling. And then our barn manager can really plan what Beth is going to do, or what Donna is going to do, or what Barbara's going to do. And then you can modify your volunteer forms. It integrates with different things, Salesforce, etc. You can even allow your volunteers to donate. There's a section in here, and they just changed the platform, of course. But there is a section in here to give back to your volunteers. So what that means is their hours accumulate funds. So they become eligible for $5, $10, $20 gift cards to Panera, Dunkin', things like that, which are really great. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that right now. Like I said, they changed the platform, and I want to be mindful of everyone's time. But there is a way to give back to your volunteers. All right. Any questions on VOMO before we go on?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Grace, and I'm working at Mustang Valley. My question is, if you were a smaller rescue with a smaller team of volunteers, which of these VOMO functions do you think are crucial? Because I would imagine maybe some of them wouldn't be as necessary for a smaller working group.
So VOMO satisfies a lot of requirements. Thoroughbred Aftercare, GFAS, CHA, those accreditations require, so there's paper documents, but God forbid there's a fire. Those accreditations actually require digital platforms so that everything is on the cloud. And you're never going to lose your volunteers' information. I can access this on an app on my phone. So if there's ever any disaster, or as executive director, last year, my property manager, barn manager, and I all went to the Retired Racehorse Project. So we were all off site, but I had full access to my volunteer schedules, profiles. I knew everything that my volunteers were doing, even though I was off site. So even if you're small, I think that there's a value definitely to, number one, it keeps all of your applications in one place. It tracks your active volunteers so that you're not chasing inactive volunteers. It allows for grouping as far as equine volunteers, admin volunteers, property volunteers. So it allows you to group your volunteers. Can it all be done on spreadsheets? Of course. Can you have a database for your applications? Of course. For us, this has really, really helped us honestly get to know our volunteers. At a glance, I can see how many hours a volunteer has worked, so that when we have our volunteer dinners or a Christmas party, I can acknowledge the time and money the time that the volunteer has donated, and the money that they've saved us, that I didn't have to hire a staff person to do what that volunteer does. So it's really, really helped, again, from application, keeping the applications in one place, the background checks all in one place in the same platform, having my data accessible to me no matter where I am, when I'm offsite or not. So I think that there's value no matter what.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that.
Yeah. Right. This is my absolute favorite thing that I want to show you guys. What I'd like you guys to do, I built a platform just for this presentation. So whether you have an Apple phone or an Android phone, if you guys would be so kind as to download the Zello app. So this will show you what it is. On your phone, it's like an orange and white box. So you can see that orange Zello. I'll see if I can find the app logo for you guys. See this logo? You can find that in your app store and download it. It's a free download. And I'll give you guys a couple minutes to download the app. And then it's going to ask you for your name and your email. And then Tessa, if you don't mind doing it and then letting me know that you're done, that might be a good time frame for when everybody else will be done. So I actually demonstrated this. I presented this same webinar at the University of, where was I? Colorado. And it was amazing because my grant manager was home on an Android phone in New York, and I was in Colorado on my Apple phone, and I was able to use my phone like a walkie-talkie with her. So walkie-talkies are great on the farm, but they can get cumbersome. They can go out of range. And sometimes Android and Apple can't communicate well. So we love Zello. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes.
I've just downloaded mine and made my account.
Okay, perfect. How are the rest of you guys doing? Tessa's done. So Tessa, on the bottom right, it says add channel. There's like a plus sign.
Yep.
Okay, so I want you to go ahead and click the plus sign, and you're going to search for homes for horses.
One that already exists.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll give a couple minutes for everyone to kind of catch up to you. So if everyone else can just kind of say done maybe when you get to that point. So you're adding your downloading the app, adding your information, hitting the plus sign, and searching for the Homes for Horses channel.
I don't know if I can find the Homes for Horses channel. Is it just like, is there 4?
So on the bottom, it says channels. Let me see. Let me try to go back. Are you in channels?
Yeah, I'm hitting the plus sign and then add by channel name.
Mm-hmm.
And then Homes for Horses doesn't come up with anything, at least not on my end.
All lowercase with a space between it.
Oh,
Home
no,
space. Home space for space horses.
got it.
Perfect. Okay,
All right,
so
it's asking for a password.
yep, so I'm going to give that as soon as we have some more people. Are you guys ready?
I still can't find it either. This is so fun, by the way. So what am I typing in exactly?
So are you where you can search for a channel?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking for homes space for space horses, and you'll see the Homes for Horses logo. I think
Yeah.
you'll see the logo.
I still can't find it.
Hmm.
And this is the blue plus sign at the top of the page. The top
Yeah,
of the
and you're just gonna
screen.
do add by channel name.
Oh. Ah, okay. Gotcha.
Perfect. I don't know how many people are on
Mhm.
because I have too many screens open, but maybe if like 4 or 5 of you are all kind of on that spot, if you're going to do it. If you're not going to do it, then we can just keep going. So then your password is, if you guys are ready, I just did lowercase HHC 2024 exclamation point. Hello. Wow, I got 4 people connected. Hi, Boss Mare, Lauren, Paulette, Kathleen. 2 horsey girls. Is that Jen? See how much fun this is? So I love this on the farm. So if you kind of see a screen with an orange circle on it. Yes. No, maybe. Do you guys see your home screen? I don't know if like this is your home
Yes.
screen. Okay, cool. So it works like a walkie-talkie. So I'm going to press and hold my orange button like a walkie-talkie. And if you guys are on it, you should be able to hear me. Yes, no, maybe?
I'm on the Zoom call on my phone, so I don't think I'm going to get the differentiation between.
Oh, okay. Honestly, that's a great point. I don't know if I can do that either. But somebody, oh, I did. So let's see. Somebody tried it. So somebody who is not on their phone, of the 6 of you, Lauren, Paulette, HHC, I guess that's Tessa, 2 horsey girls, Kathleen, can one of you who are not on your phone hold down the orange circle and talk like a walkie-talkie? I don't know if I'll be able to hear it either because of the Zoom call. Paulette is trying it. I see you guys trying it. So what's really great with this is if you click that blue chat box, and this is a feature that regular walkie-talkies don't have. So if you click that blue chat box, you can go back and re-listen to what other people have said. So if you've ever used a walkie-talkie, sometimes you miss the end or beginning of a conversation, or it's like, what did you say? I didn't hear you. There was static. You can actually go back in and listen to whatever that person sent. So I love that feature. On the bottom left, there's a location setting. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's your AirPlay. Hold on. There is a location setting. So what's really neat about this too, you can hit that alert message. And it might be a loose horse, it might be whatever the alert is. So you can send an alert to whoever's connected, for example. And then if you click those 3 dots, you can send your location. So that if you are traveling and you're on the road with the truck and trailer, you can send your location. So there's so many super neat features in this. If your volunteer is in the paddock and there's a horse with an injury and you're not quite sure what to do with it, instead of calling, a lot of our volunteers don't have each other's cell phone numbers. So you can just send a picture of the injured horse and I can't really hear what's happening because I am on Zoom on my phone. But if you go back into that blue chat box, you can see everything that happened. So really, really increases safety, communication, and privacy, because now all of my volunteers don't need to have the other ones' information on their phones. And it works, again, Android to iPhone, and I'm not sure where you guys are all located, but I'm sure we're spread out. I'm in New York right now, and we can all be chatting on this. So I think this is probably the most valuable tool I can share with you guys, because it's great for small industries, large industries. Obviously, you would have to create your own channel for your rescue. That green button next to the blue chat, that's your power button. So I like to tell my volunteers, you know, we have a sign: when you get on the farm, turn on your Zello app, and then when you're leaving, turn off your Zello app. Otherwise, if it's not their day to volunteer, they're going to hear all of the conversations. But what's nice is that when you turn it back on, you can go into that blue chat and really catch up on maybe what happened when you weren't volunteering, and you can still see all the old chats. Any questions or thoughts or comments on Zello?
This is just an amazing tool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, first and foremost, right, why we're all in this is for the horses. So things that we have to consider, these are 4 of my geldings. Things that we have to consider with our horses. There's like a delay. Vet care, hoof care, dentistry, and feed and nutrition, as well as programs. So these are some of our programs, past and present. So the top left is actually a probation program. So we work with Dutchess County Probation for equine assisted education and development. We used to do riding programs. We don't anymore. The third photo is our summer program. Then we do field trips. We do yoga with horses. I don't know if you can see the gray horse in that photo. The photo with the horse over my back, that's equine assisted Bowen. I actually have labral tears, rotator cuff tears, as well as herniated bulging discs. 3 years ago, I couldn't drive probably 3 miles without being in excruciating pain. And our horses are very intuitive, as you all know. So Danielle is a Bowen facilitator. We also do equine assisted Reiki. So our horses, just like they do for each other, they can actually find the source of pain. So we do equine assisted Bowen sessions, competitions. And then the last photo is a 7-year-old learning how to put a halter on. So lots of different programs, as I'm sure you guys all have as well. And how we manage that is through Hippo Vibe. Give this a minute to load. Just do this. Okay. So in a nutshell, Hippo Vibe tracks everything. It's not free, but it's affordable. And it is super, super valuable. So there's a desktop and a phone app. So this is the desktop, obviously. And it mirrors the app. So if you download the app on your phone, it would completely mirror it. So it basically puts my entire herd in my pocket. So I can see at a glance all of my horses. There's photos with them. So on the app, my volunteers get full access to this. Once they complete their background check and go through their volunteer process, they get full access to this as well. The photos are super helpful. We have multiple bay thoroughbred mares. So when I say to a new volunteer, go grab Robbie, she's a bay thoroughbred mare, they go into the mare's paddock and they're like, which one? So the photo is super helpful. Right off the bat, I have their name, my thoroughbreds, I have their registered name, their age, their breed. So that's all here at a glance. And then we do have a second location, so I can quick check the other locations. Right now, they're all home at the Dover location. We do have a secondary facility that we use for a couple months in the summer. And I love this. I'm just going to show you one of our horses. So this is Monty. And as soon as this opens up, HippoVibe will tell me his birth date. It will do the math for me and tell me that he's 7 years old, his color, his tattoo, his microchip. He is a thoroughbred, so we put his registry in here. I can look at his pictures. So this is his physical appearance, and then this is why he lives on the farm. So I can pull up his sesamoid bone fracture. All of these things can be uploaded into HippoVibe, which syncs with Google Drive. So all these documents will be saved into Google Drive. I can pull up his health records. So I can see when the farrier was here, when he was dewormed, when he had a fecal test. I can see that the staff saw that he was lame coming in and his right fetlock was swollen. Whenever the farrier is here, we do BCS and weight checks. We noticed that maybe he had some colic going on. So if I open this up, after eating his breakfast, he wasn't eating, we called the vet. This is what the vet said, etc. So all of the vet records stay in HippoVibe, which is just amazing. So vaccine, everything is in here. So that's what we get for our horses, literally full everything we need. So you can also put tabs in here for owners should you do some boarding or have shares on your horses. Different people do different things. We don't. We kind of keep it simple because they're all sanctuary horses. They're not moving. HippoVibe does have an option for sales, which you could run as your adoptions. We don't use that. We have our full calendar in here. So if I pull up May, I can look at today, and Eric and Erica, or our staff that are here today. Kathy was here this morning. We have the webinar. I can look at Friday, and it tells me that the farrier is coming. And if I click on that, you can also put in like which horses he's doing. So we do it by paddock. So here's a full calendar for you guys to list. You know, we have our vaccines on here. Anything that you guys want to share with your volunteers and your staff. My vet has access to this as well. So whoever you give access to would be able to see all this. There's also checklists. It is not November. What are we doing?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this might be off the wall. Would this be something, I assume you can set who is looking at it if they're a viewer or an editor.
Yeah.
Would it be an appropriate database or for adoptable horses? Meaning,
Yes.
because one thing that has come up over and over again is people who are adopting these horses want full transparency into the vet records and the things that you're showing us here.
Yeah, I think definitely. You know, because it literally gives you the entire background of the horse from whenever you start tracking it.
And there would be no red flags with having it like kind of be available to adopt applications.
When I go down to the user section, I'll show you how you can customize that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if I look at May, I'll look at today, for example, like Cash gets beamed. These are all different things that Cash would need. it's thinking of something. So today, Cash got beamed. We have a beamer. So basically he gets beamed, and then he has a pretty nasty wound. So clean his wound, wrap his wound. And all of these things they're abbreviated, but they're basically when you go through and select what you want to use, and this is all customizable, by the way. So, you know, we use a beamer. If you don't, then this option wouldn't be available. You can just create a task, and whatever you want it to be, you can customize the abbreviations for your farm. There is 100%, it's 100% customizable to your farm. And what I love about this is if you encourage your staff and volunteers to keep their notifications on for the app, whatever the task might be, if I wanted to have somebody bathe Annie, and I would go through and select today, and I want Adam to do it. I might say, thanks for bathing Annie. Once I hit notify and I save it, he's going to get an alert on his phone. So he might text me and be like, you really want me to bathe Annie? But that volunteer, that staff member, it popped right up onto the calendar, and that staff member is going to be notified. So I love that option, because sticky notes, whiteboards, so many things get lost in translation. So this really helps that process. So these are all of the horse things that you can do. And then there's obviously general tasks. So main barn, lower barn, sometimes there's other things like bathing Texas. So these are tasks that the barn manager would put in along with the volunteer's name of who she wants to do the task. My entire feed list, complete with medications, are in here. And if your horse gets different feed in the morning, at noon, evening, or night check, you can customize that completely. So the little wheat is feed, the blue is supplement, and then red is medication. Again, completely customizable. You can put, whether you feed Poulin, Nutrina, Blue Seal, whatever you feed, you customize and put your feed, your supplements, your medications into this this app, which is fantastic. And again, it's not only written in the feed room. We have three barns on my farm, so and 2 facilities. So if you're looking at the feed and you didn't make it, you can actually go right into the app and be like, gee, I don't know if this horse is supposed to get alfalfa. You can go ahead and check it right on your phone. And then same thing, if I wanted to change the feed, if I hit the plus sign and I change the feed, I can hit this notify users. So anybody that has access to feed, which is not everybody, would get notified that Annie's feed changed, or the vet pulled a medication or something like that. You can track finances. I'll be honest with you, I don't do anything with the finance section. I have a bookkeeper. We use QuickBooks. I don't use the finance section of the app. My contacts are in here. So if I'm in the barn and I need to call my vet or the farrier or the feed supplier or a boarder, everything is in here. Obviously, it's not my entire contact list. It's just the contact list specifically for horse care that I want potentially other people to have access to. And then the users are where you would be able to change your permissions. So contacts, horses, calendar, health. So you had that question earlier. So if you wanted to only allow someone to have access to the health, then you could do that. You can't customize it by horse though. So if you do have that adopter and you only want to share Annie's file, it doesn't allow you to do that. They would have access to the health of all of your horses. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? I mean, you're doing all of the things, and then you can very easily, you know, I can go into Abigail Posner and I can change her permissions. Oh, I'm kidding. You can just give her access to one horse. So there you go. Whoever asked that question, you can give her access to just Annie. It's a feature that I haven't used because we don't adopt, and then she would only be able to see Annie's information. And then once she adopts the horse, what's nice is that if you have, I'm sure you do, that policy where you want to know how Annie's doing after the adoption or during that foster or probationary period, she can still put all of Annie's information into the app so that you can still see what Annie's doing. Any other questions on Hippo Vibe? Okay.
You mentioned a cost. So this is so great. But you mentioned a cost with both Hippo Vibe and with Vomo. Can you
I mentioned the
elaborate
what?
on
I'm
that?
sorry. I missed
A
that word.
cost?
Yep. Yep.
Cost,
It's
sorry.
I actually have a slide for the cost of everything. So here are the costs. Vomo, it's $50 a month. To me, it's totally worth it. For those large organizations, I mean, when you think about what the staff time is to manage all of those paper volunteers, there was someone who asked about that small organization. A $600 a month, I mean, that could be one donation. It could be a sponsorship. For $600 a year, rather, not a month, a year. I think that it's invaluable because I can't pay a staff member $600 a year to manage everything that Vomo manages. Zello, as we all learned, is completely free. And then Hippo Vibe is per horse. So I'll show you, it opens. So the lowest it is $15 a month. So if you have 5 horses, I'm sorry, 18, it's 18. If you pay a year, it's $15 a month. If you pay quarterly, it's $18 a month. So for 5 horses, $15 a month, I think that that is, again, invaluable. It's $3 per horse to track all of your horses. And then the max is if you have 200 horses, it's $300 a month. So for 50 horses, I'm paying $100 a month for everything that it does for me, from the scheduling, the communication, the health records alone, tracking my x-ray photos. I can dump everything in there. There is no limit as to users or how many photos or anything like that. It's invaluable. The other thing that Hippo Vibe does is for those of you that are members of your horse council or other organizations, they'll give you a code as a nonprofit, like an affiliate code. So if you can get someone else to purchase Hippo Vibe with your code, and Tessa, I can see if they would do this for Homes for Horses too.
I was
as a
just thinking
discount.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they did give me a discount code for CHA. So there's a discount code if you're a member, and then also for each individual organization or for Homes for Horses, or the Homes for Horses Coalition, then you would get a discount. So if I get 5 members to sign up and purchase Hippo Vibe, then I get, I think it's like $10 a person, but it's still money off. So there is a return on investment as well. And then any questions?
I had a question about managing your volunteers and using VOMO, how do you ensure that everybody's using it in the way that it's intended to, and that they're tracking their hours and stuff, and actually engaging with it?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And we do have a couple older, I have a 76-year-old retired woman who's a volunteer. She is here every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so for her, my barn manager just puts her in when she's doing her weekly computer work. Is it an inconvenience for one person? No. If you have 10 people, it might be. We do have monthly volunteer meetings that we learn new skills. We also have held Zoom classes specifically for it. And then my office manager is always in the office for volunteers to come in, and if they have a question, we'll just go through the process with them. So we're super supportive of our volunteers as far as a training basis. So if they have questions, they can always come in the office and ask, and we're happy to give them a tutorial. As well as when they go through their orientation, Allie goes step by step with them, similar to what I did with you guys with setting up Zello. Allie does go step by step with them to make sure that they're able to get all their information that they need to get. With Hippo Vibe, it's really easy to set up. The first thing we do is it's actually a text. So I would go into Hippo Vibe and add the user, and Hippo Vibe will create an alert for me. I'll send that alert via text to the volunteer, and it walks them through it. So it's super, super user friendly. Hippo Vibe is probably more user friendly than VOMO. But again, I mean, it's easier than spreadsheets. Any other questions? Well, I hope that this was helpful to you guys, and that hopefully you have some new tools. Here's my information for anybody who wants it. Definitely email me if you have any questions. If you do get involved with Hippo Vibe, or Zello or VOMO, or if I can help you in any other way, definitely reach out.
I know I've geeked out the whole time on here, but really, this is tremendous. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for joining us and for all the great information. And I think, again, this is recorded, so I think it's going to be super helpful to everybody who wasn't able to join today. They're still going to get the information, and that's awesome. So thanks everybody for coming, and thank you so much, Deanna, for this awesome presentation.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Tessa.
See y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.